The Creature, Chapter 5.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah, it's been a rough day. Paco was on the lull all day, and I just had to hang out and amuse myself by playing video games and stuff. It was very difficult on us both.
Yeah, I weep for you.
Oh, that's good. That's very kind of you. But are you ready to get into this?
Yeah.
So far this is edge of your seat stuff. It really pained me not to read it yesterday to find out where the story's going.
So.
I think now we have gotten about as far as I've ever gotten in this book. So now it's all just new territory to me.
This is as far as I've ever gotten too, when
Yeah.
I got here 2 days ago.
Yeah, so just to recap, because this has been a whirlwind story with so many things that happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are high school kids that have not yet graduated.
Right.
They are presumably seniors. I think they mentioned being seniors. Let's see, Lauren and Winnie met, and they dated, and they had a breakup dinner, but they botched it and ended up getting engaged. And then they had sex on Mom's couch, and now baby booger is brewing in Winnie's belly there, and they decided to go hiking on a mountain.
Because of course.
Yeah. And so
not just any mountain either, but one where apparently it can get 30 inches of snow.
in an evening, yeah,
Yeah.
just like in no time.
Because that's the smart thing to do. Where they actually brought snowshoes.
Yeah, they brought
That is-
snowshoes with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
they brought 4 ham sandwiches and a bottle of water and snowshoes.
and snowshoes for like 6 people. Yeah, so they go hiking, they realize it's late and now they're stuck because they're stupid, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and they're out there with Nathan Downhauer and D-Mac and their girlfriends.
Yep.
And so D-Mac and Nathan's girlfriend both get offed by the creature
Sadly.
about 15 feet away from Lorne,
Yep.
and let's see, they decide to Scooby-Doo their way down a mountain, but they have a short stopover in a cave to huff some oil smoke.
And then they managed to trick the creature into phasing through a boulder into the cave, into the underground river, and obviously that's going to be the last we ever hear of that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Then they finish their way down the mountain to this oddly stocked ranger cabin that has guns but not much ammo,
Nope.
beds,
Yep.
food,
Yep.
batteries,
Yep.
flashlights,
Yep.
blankets,
Yep.
coffee,
Yeah.
and presumably cream, sugar, and the like, but no water.
Nope.
No water.
None.
They can't even dip a glass out of the toilet.
So they had to walk, I think it was like 100 yards to the river to pull out water. They don't boil it either till they make the coffee.
They just drink it straight out of the river, like bears and cows and stuff have just been shitting in it, like right upstream, probably about 20
Winnie
feet
is so
away.
stupid that apparently to get water out of the river and into a bucket, she has to remove stones from the river.
Yeah, and just grab the creature's hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
So is that pretty much where we're at now?
I think so.
Yeah, and then there's 30 inches of snow out the door. Lauren shoveled it away in about 10 minutes, and he put on his snowshoes and he's walking down to get more water.
Yep.
And that's where we left off. So chapter 5, yeah.
Samuel struggled to walk on the snow because of the brisk wind and thick falling snow. Thank God we have the ranger station for shelter right now. No person could freeze to death out here, he said out loud to himself. The river was only about 100 yards away, but it seemed more like 5 miles with the wind blowing the way it was. It made Samuel's nose so cold that he felt it might break if he touched it.
Lol.
Poor baby. He looked at his watch when he reached a small river. 3:17 p.m., he said.
This clock watching bitch.
I didn't look to see what time it was when I left, but it must have taken me about 10 minutes to walk from the cabin to here," Samuel said out loud. Samuel grabbed the containers, began filling them. The cold water made his fingers feel frozen running over them as he helped containers under the water fill them up. When he finished filling them all, he tied them around his neck and turned to head back to the ranger station. He looked to his left just enough to catch an indentation in the fresh falling snow. Look, this is thick snow.
This is 30 inches and more coming down. What indent did he see?
"No, my God," he said to himself. They were the footprints of the creature making their way towards the ranger station.
In 30 inches of snow?
Yes.
Okay.
I think...
Meowscles is determined.
I could be wrong, but I think if a 8-foot-tall creature is walking through 30 inches of snow, you're not seeing what's actually made.
Yeah, you're
not seeing the footprints. It's just going to be like a fucking
a track.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just noticed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Samuel dropped the containers of water and began to run to the ranger station.
What if it wasn't the creature?
Yeah.
They still got to hold up in there. They're going to need that water.
His legs felt heavy, and he felt like he wanted to collapse in the snow. He forced his way through the brutal wind and cold and plowed through the door of the station. Quickly getting off the snowshoes, he began giving orders to Jennifer and Holly.
Probably to, make more ham sandwiches.
Yeah. But notice he doesn't say a single thing that Samuel apparently says to them.
Yeah. What's wrong, eh?
Jennifer asked. When he looked in her eyes, she knew. And so did Andrew and Holly. Thank God they're all mind readers. When I went down on the rope to the river, when we were in the cave, I saw a small hole in the wall beneath the water. But I didn't think it was big enough for the creature to get through. When he fell through the river or from the cave, I caught him on fire. He must have survived it. I've seen his footprints in the fresh fallen snow down by the river, Samuel explained. They all felt their hearts drop and suddenly felt sick to their stomachs. We need to get ready for him, Samuel said. Andrew started groaning as he tried to get up in pain from his wound and struggling.
Let's see. This one's Sassy Decoy, right?
Yes.
Stay there, Andrew. You're only going to make things worse if you try moving, you dumbass.
Holly demanded. Holly, get Andrew situated so that he can hold the gun to the window and can look out.
Why does he have to do it? Why can't one of the able-bodied girls do it?
I don't know.
Or maybe we're going to find out that there's something else they have to do.
Jane, go to the storage room and get all the guns from the cabinet. I'll get the ammunition. Where did this Jane come from?
Yeah, where'd Jane come from?
Samuel said as he locked the front door. They headed for the storage room.
It's locked, eh?
Jennifer shouted. Samuel grabbed Bar from the closet and was getting the ammunition from the closet he was getting the ammunition from. Oh, very clear there, thank you. Step back, he said as he smashed the glass so Jennifer could get the guns.
Why didn't they just open the door? Because it's a cabinet. They didn't just build the glass around the guns.
She said it was locked.
Oh, okay. I guess I wasn't paying close enough attention. I thought she was saying the room was locked.
See, that's what I was thinking at first, but now with this.
It's just okay. And she couldn't think to smash the glass.
No.
Yeah.
They returned to the main room with all the guns and some ammunition. Look, why didn't you grab all the ammunition? You already said there wasn't a lot. So why did you only grab some of it?
Yeah, why some?
Jennifer, take Holly with you and go back in the storage room and grab 2 cases of the canned food and the wire I saw in the closet where I got the ammunition from, Samuel said. Bring them out here and empty them all.
So there's wire in this place, but no water.
Yeah.
Just in case you have to rewire your camper, I guess?
Maybe. The girls did as he instructed while Samuel and Andrew loaded the 8 guns and finished getting Andrew set up by the window. Once you empty all the cans, poke a hole in each can and run about 2 feet of wire through 4 cans. Do that about 8 times.
Hey, that's a bunch of cans they're opening up and emptying.
Yeah.
And how are they going to poke the holes? Like, what do they got?
And they have a whole, like, jewelry making
Yeah.
kit and everything. And
We got a drill. There's
Yeah.
there's a drill in there.
Samuel explained. While the girls were getting the cans prepared, Andrew was watching out the window with a rifle in hand and ready to fire at the sight of the creature. Samuel went back into the storage room to look for candles and to get 3 cans of gas he'd seen earlier. They have 3 cans of gas.
And oil.
And no water.
But no water.
And whatever oil he could find, which turned out to be only 2 quarts, but it would have to do. He returned to the main room with candles and fuel in each arm. Putting on his coat, he stopped and looked at Jennifer. She looked back and gave him the look as if to say,
Meh. Please don't go out there, baby.
but she held it back because she knew he was only doing what he had to do. He put on his hat, gloves, and snowshoes, then tied together the cans and wire, and turned to open the door. Jennifer ran over and looked at him.
Be careful and come back to me, you fatball pedophile.
She said. I will, he replied, then kissed her. Sidon went out the door and she locked it behind him. Samuel stood there in front of the door and looked around then. Looked at his watch. It's 4:10 right now, and it gets dark at about 5:30. That's probably when he's going to come, is after dark.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, you saw fresh tracks when it was daylight.
That's the last time you dealt with the creature was in daylight, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
he said to himself. He climbed the snowbank in front of the door and headed to a tree in front of the building, tied the wire around it, then led the wire to the next tree and continued till he had the wire surrounding the building. He then tied the string of empty cans to the wire in 8 different places. He didn't have to throw snow over them to hide them because it was snowing so hard still that the cans would be hidden in a matter of 15 minutes.
In about 15 minutes. It's pretty good, actually.
Once the wire was run and cans were set in place, Samuel chopped down a couple of medium-sized trees at the back of the ranger station. Do you know how long it takes to cut down a tree?
Lauren can do it in about 15 minutes.
I guess. Well, I mean, he's trying to do it before dark, so how many trees is he cutting down? Once the wire was, he poured the 2 quarts of oil over the trees, went to the edge of the woods, and chopped down a fir tree. He could use the branches from the fir tree to get the fire going hot, and it would also light up around the station more so he could see better. After covering...
Because nothing burns quite like wet green wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After covering both of the chopped down trees with the fir branches, it was almost dark.
You did a lot in an hour.
He made a path with the shovel through the snow to go from the front door to the area of the fire.
In 30 inches of snow and more falling, he managed to dig a pathway quickly.
Well, he also managed to chop all these trees down.
I know. All this in like a little over an hour.
Mm-hmm. Alright. He found a small piece of paper in his back pocket, lit it on fire, placed it on one of the fir branches, filled an empty can with gas, and threw it on the small fire. When the fuel reached the fire, it lit up the night with a boom.
Kaboom!
The fir branches caught on fire fast and burned hot, but Samuel knew that would only last a short amount of time. With the fire burning hot and bright for the moment, Sammy knew this was the best time to go check on Jennifer, Holly, and Andrew, and also get his 2 guns and extra ammunition. When he walked in the door, all 3 of them quickly turned their guns toward them until they realized who it was. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Jennifer ran. Is there really only one window in this entire thing that's apparently not facing the front door?
I guess.
Because if not, then Andrew should have seen him because he was guarding the window. Anyway, stupid. Jennifer ran up to him and gave him a hug and a kiss. He held her tight for a moment. I have to get my guns and ammo, he said, then gave her a kiss, told her he loved her, and headed back out the door. Samuel was by the fire by the time it had come down. He wiped the snow off of an old metal chair that was against the building and sat down watching the fire and waited, thinking often about the night before and trying to prepare himself for the nightmare that lay ahead. But he knew that nothing could prepare him for it. The creature was something that had no mercy. It would take a life at the first possible chance he could, and he would do it in a gooseman despicable way.
That was pretty short. You want to just keep on going to chapter 6?
Let's do it.
All right, chapter 6.
Samuel got up from his chair to move the wood around on the fire so it would burn better. He watched the sparks float into the sky as he poked the hot wood. He became alert quickly when he heard a sound of a set of cans clanking together. The cans that are buried in the snow?
Yeah.
Okay. Grabbing the small food can he had filled with gas, he quickly threw it on the fire. It boomed as the gas touched the fire and lit up the night.
Kaboom!
Sammy looked around quickly to the area of the rattling cans. There was nothing there that he could see. He filled the small can up with gas again and threw it on the fire and watched it explode. He looked again in the area of the rattling cans. He could see. Maybe if you didn't stare at the fucking burning fire before looking into the dark, you could see it, moron. The creature was sloped behind a set of bushes, with his cat-reflecting eyes showing against the fire.
Cat-reflecting eyes.
Sammy grabbed his rifle, aimed and fired, and shot in the direction of the bushes. He almost dropped his gun from the high-pitched screeching sound the creature made from the bullet ripping through him. Samuel looked at his rifle. Do you mean down the rifle? Because
no, he has a, what the fuck? He's just looking at, what the fuck did this thing just do?
Samuel looked at his rifle and fired again, but got nothing. Maybe I killed him, he said to himself. Then he heard cans rattling in another direction, grabbed a can of gas and quickly threw it on the fire. The gas exploded as it reached the fire. Sammy could see the creature again, so he lifted the rifle quickly again and let off another round. He could tell he missed that time because he didn't take his time to aim. Dumbass. Samuel stood quietly, listening for any noises the creature might make. He couldn't hear anything. He thought maybe the creature laughed from getting hurt from the shot that Samuel put through him. Out of nowhere, the creature approached, lunging towards Samuel above the fire. You know, I'm pretty sure there's better ways you could have described it besides approached.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives them
like
more of the, hey man,
up.
how you...
He's just strolling up. Well, I guess there goes the idea the creature's scared of fire, right?
Yeah. Samuel lifted his gun to fire at the creature, but before he knew it, the creature had Samuel off his feet, holding him by the throat. He threw Samuel 20 feet.
And nobody could ever find him again.
When Sammy landed in the deep snow, he quickly got to his feet, pointed his rifle in all different directions. There was no sign of the creature.
This guy's quick, huh?
Yeah. Sammy made his way back to the fire, hours later, and threw more gas on it. A large flame lit up the night, but Sammy could see no sign of the creature. Then he looked down and seen the last footprints of the creatures. He's on the roof, he thought to himself. Samuel slowly turned around and looked up.
Why? Why wouldn't you quickly do that?
There stood on the roof of the ranger station and stared at Samuel with the look of pure hatred.
Okay, so right there when he says stared at him with the look of pure hatred, you know the evil monkey that lives in Chris Griffin's closet and comes out and be like, and you like point at him?
Yes.
I just imagined that's what the creature was doing. Same look on his face and everything, just pointing at him.
Oh, absolutely. That's great. Slowly lifting his rifle, he began to take sight of the creature. Then, without expecting it, the creature leapt from the roof towards Samuel, and Samuel let off a shot. The bullet pierced through the creature's skin, making the creature let out a high-pitched screeching noise as he kept falling towards Samuel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, it's whoop, 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 whoop.
As the creature landed, his only good hand had managed to find Samuel's face.
Yeah.
Leaving a bloody slash on his cheek in front of his left ear, and the creature leapt again out of sight. Sammy put his hand up to his cheek and brought it back down to observe the amount of blood. He quickly grasped both hands of his rifle again and reloaded it. Looking around in
expectance.
Looking around in expectance, holding his rifle tight in his hand. He moved from the left of the building to the right of the building. I'm glad he clarified that. There was no sign of the creature. I must have hit him good with that last shot I fired. Speaking to himself, Samuel made his way to the front door to check the others. Blood was traveling down his cheek to the creature slash he gave Sammy when he jumped off the roof of the ranger station. Jennifer grabbed him and held him tight after unlocking the door to let him in. She looked at his cheek in horror.
Man, you're bleeding badly, baby.
Jennifer said.
Sit down over there so I can take care of you.
How's Andrew holding up? Samuel asked quietly as he looked in Andrew's direction, noticing Holly had changed his bandages again.
He's doing all right.
No, this is still Jennifer.
Oh, man. He's doing all right,
Jennifer replied as she began cleaning Samuel's wound.
Is the creature dead, baby?
She asked. No, but I got a good shot at it, though, and hurt her really bad. Alrighty, Samuel said. No, I'm going to have to go back out there again. No, I don't think the creature will be coming back for a little while, though. So I wouldn't mind having something hot to drink while I'm in here. He applied to Jennifer after she was done dressing his wound. She gave him a kiss and fetched him some coffee. He sipped it slowly as not to burn his tongue.
In an emergency, the women are there to bandage and fix coughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be shooting, but I'm not
Yeah, I mean, I'd give you the gun. You're a better shot.
Yeah. You could make the coffee.
Yeah, I'd make the coffee.
And find the canned ham.
Yeah.
Sammy looked at the clock and read 11:35.
Yeah, his dealing with the creature is a while, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knew the creature would be back again tonight. He just wasn't sure how long it would take before it would return. He walked to the radio and tried to contact someone. Anyone. Once again. But all he got was silence because of a storm. Samuel sat down on the floor, back against the wall to rest, but careful not to fall asleep as Jennifer laid her head in his lap. He laid the gun next to him and began stroking her hair. In a low voice, he promised her, I'll never let anything happen to you "Oh, Aw, baby," he assured her, not really meaning for her to hear him.
I know you won't, baby.
She replied, as she set her hand on his leg just to feel a part of him for the security.
But she's got her head in it.
I know.
Never mind.
The night slowly crept by as Samuel noticed himself starting to doze off. He caught himself just in time to wake himself back up. He carefully lifted Jennifer's head and put his duffel bag full of clothes beneath. A duffel bag full of clothes?
I want those duffel bags.
You carried a duffel bag of essentials down the mountain because they had your clothes in them?
Well, yeah, he might need to change his shirt.
How many pairs of underpants did this kid pack?
17. Don't judge him. He has accidents, okay?
That does not surprise me.
And it was only supposed to be an afternoon trip.
And put his duffel bag full of clothes beneath her head as he got to his feet. Looking at the clock, he noticed that read 3:22. Sammy looked out the window, positive the fire had gone out by now, or at least was down to just hot coals. He decided against going back outside until morning light approached, in fear of the creature awaiting him in the dark. I was positive the creature would return tonight, before daylight, Samuel said to himself. I must have really gotten a good shot on him. If he hasn't come back before daylight, then I'll be able to go outside and look to see the amount of blood the creature lost on the ground. That'll be buried in snow.
Yeah, because it's snowing, right?
Mm-hmm. He muttered to himself. Sammy went to the radio again, started to reach someone, but no luck. Andrew, Holly, and Jennifer were all asleep.
So I guess none of them have the survival instinct to be on the lookout for the creature. They're putting their lives in Lorne's hands.
Yeah.
All right.
Sammy went into the live storage room to see what he could find to eat.
What do you mean what he could find to eat? They emptied a whole bunch of cans of food. There's got to be a bunch of food.
Yeah.
Did they eat it all? Did they just have a giant buffet while he was out there?
Maybe. Well, don't let those green beans go to waste.
Yeah, like... Okay.
Reaching around a jar of pickles, he discovered 4 boxes of donuts.
4 boxes. There's 4 boxes of donuts, but no water.
No water.
But there are 4 boxes of donuts, which means this place gets regular fresh food delivery.
But not water.
Yeah, like it's not like there's nothing but canned goods that can sit there for years. No.
And why is it behind a jar of pickles?
And
That's something you need to eat faster than the pickles.
4 boxes of them. These rangers must just gorge on donuts. God damn.
Maybe they're like the police.
And of course, out of all the food in this place, what does he choose to bring back?
The donuts. Okay. For anyone listening, can y'all do an experiment for me? Get a really big stick and some string and tie a donut to it, and see if you can capture a park ranger. Because I want to know how much they love their donuts.
These guys must fucking love them. Okay, so out of all the food in there, what did he bring back? What did he bring back?
He made his way to the main room with the donuts and made himself another cup of coffee. Jennifer and Holly were both becoming restless. Sammy tried to stay as quiet as possible so he wouldn't wake them, but with the fear of the creature in their minds, it was of no good to try being quiet because they both woke up within a matter of minutes of him making his coffee. Jennifer got up from the floor, wiping the sleep from her eyes and yawning. She found her way to Samuel and sat on his lap, resting her head on his...
Isn't he standing there making coffee? Well, no, okay, all right.
Sat on his lap, resting her head on her shoulder.
That sounds uncomfortable.
It does. He kissed her forehead and placed his hand on her belly, as to touch the baby inside
I
her.
bet she's getting tired of that.
Yeah.
Meh. Here's a thought. Would you like Winnie to make you some eggs?
Mm-mm.
Would you like me to make you some eggs and brussy juice, baby?
Ew, did you have to add that?
Yes. Because Lauren liked brussy juice on his eggs.
She asks as she yawned again. All these donuts. Yeah, filled me up.
How?
Did he eat all 4
Did he eat all
boxes?
the donuts?
He
Well, no. There's 4 boxes of donuts. There's 4 of them. He's eating his box of donuts. There are eggs. So this guy decided that instead of the eggs or even the pickles,
Yeah.
he chose the donuts.
Right.
Okay. Meanwhile, they had to dump out a bunch of cans of food. You know,
Right.
so presumably they did something with that food.
For the noise trap of cans under snow
Yeah.
to rattle
What did they
together.
do with all that food? That food has to be better than the donuts, like more filling. Yeah. Fuck
I
it.
don't know.
It's donuts. It's donuts.
But I think you, Holly and Andrew, you should have something to eat, though. Oh my God, he did!
He did eat
ate all
them.
4.
He ate all the boxes,
No.
okay? He ate all the boxes of Tony. This man,
He's not like, hey, there's some donuts for everybody.
this
No,
man
you
just
should-
sat there and
Basically, you should make extra everybody for you and everybody else, bitch. I ate the
this
donuts.
man really just sat there like a competitive eater and just scarfed down 4 whole boxes of Edamund's donuts. God, I hope they were at least the chocolate covered ones.
Right? Oh, okay, God. Now I want donuts.
You want 4 boxes?
Yes. And I won't eat them all in a sitting.
I'll have the eggs.
There's no telling when the creature will come back again, Samuel explained. Now I'm going to go back outside when it becomes light out. Now I want to see how much blood the creature lost when I shot him. It should be light out pretty soon. Sammy looked at the clock as Jennifer moved her feet toward the stove. It was 4:30. Should be light out soon, Samuel thought to himself as he took another sip of his coffee.
This asshole hasn't seen a sunrise. He doesn't have a clue.
Jennifer reached into the refrigerator and got out the eggs, butter, and set it
There's
next to the
eggs
stove.
and butter.
In a refrigerator that's plugged in because of electricity, but no water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had to get candles last night.
Then she moved in front of the little window above the sink and reached up in the cabinet to retrieve a frying pan. Why would it be there? Who puts their frying pan in a cabinet above the sink?
Lauren?
After grabbing the frying pan in her hand, she began to bring it down when she moved her eyes to the window in front of her. She screamed and dropped the pan as she backed up, almost tripping over the small carpet that lay on the floor behind her.
That's why.
Sammy jumped to his feet and looked at Jennifer as she pointed at the window, staring into the horror-filled Why is the
The creature's
Ah.
Look, okay, so now the horror-filled cat-like eyes of the creature.
Yes.
So now we know the creature's motivation. He's not evil, he's terrified of them.
Yeah.
He's trying to get rid of these horrible, horrible things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking in the window. Sammy grabbed his gun, aimed, and squeezed the trigger. By the time the shot fired, the creature had gone. God, you're slow.
Yeah, he's really slow, man.
Sammy rushed over to Jennifer to see if she was all right. She threw her arms around his neck and began crying. Andrew had awakened in the commotion and
I hope he did.
reached for his gun to be prepared. He moved his eyes towards Samuel and Jennifer to see if she was all right.
Is she all right, Samuel?
Andrew asked. She's fine, he replied. How are you feeling? Samuel asked.
I've had better days, but I'm still alive.
Andrew replied. Yeah, he's such a prick.
You can smell the fedora.
Yeah, your nest seems to be taking pretty good care of you.
They're quipping.
Sammy replied. But yes, when they just had another run-in with the fucking creature.
They're quipping. The thing's out there waiting to skin them all, and they're just quipping.
Yep. Andrew looked at Holly and watched a small grin appear on her face. This is you.
Yeah. Yes, she's definitely good at taking care of someone. Vernon always knew how to pick the good ones.
He replied in a flirting
tone. His girlfriend has been killed by the creature. Her boyfriend is presumably being worn like a funny hat by the creature. And they're flirting.
They are. Oh my gosh. Samuel helped Jennifer to her feet. And as she stood up, the window in front of Andrew smashed out with the arm of the creature reaching inside trying to grab Andrew, but just short of reaching.
Maybe the creature's just after him.
Yeah. Jennifer and Holly both threw their hands to their mouths and screamed.
Because women can't do anything in an emergency but scream, cook eggs, and make coffee.
Yeah. Like, throw some of them cans of food that you still have lying around.
Pick up a gun. They all had guns earlier.
I'm not trusting these women with guns.
No.
Okay.
You're right.
I will trust them with cans of food.
Yeah.
Andrew turned his head to see the creature's long bony fingers trying to grab him, but not quite able to reach. There was no way Andrew could move without the creature being able to grab it. What about backwards?
No.
Could he move
I
backwards?
assume he's in the corner. Like, if he went left or right, the creature could maybe grab him, but that would be a weird architecture for this room.
It would.
Yeah.
Sammy quickly grabbed a scorching hot pot of coffee. Not the coffee!
No, the coffee! No, it's my favorite character.
On the counter next to Andrew and threw it on the creature's arms. Once again, the creature let out a loud, high-pitched scream.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Withdrew his arm from inside
Yeah.
and retreated once again. Andrew looked at the coffee pot in Samuel's hand and cursed.
Damn.
What? Are you all right? Sammy asked.
Yeah, I'm fine. I was just hoping to have a cup of that coffee before you threw it out.
That is such a prick thing to say.
Right? This is a perfect voice.
It is. Wow, you did good with that one.
Yeah.
Andrew replied. Sammy gave a little grin. Sorry. I'll make another pot to replace that one. Sammy retrieved some plastic and a staple gun from the
This storage room has everything, man.
From the storage room to put over the two broken windows, while Jennifer made another pot of coffee and eggs.
What'd I tell you? The only thing the women can do is scream and do food-related things.
Yeah, but did she have to make the coffee and eggs together?
Yeah. Just a pot of coffee and eggs. And maybe the coffee pot's their only heat source, so they gotta make it all together. Just a pot of coffee and eggs.
Daylight was approaching, and Samuel was anxious to get outside and look at the amount of damage he had done to the creature the night before. It obviously wasn't enough.
Yeah, not much. I mean, the thing just attacked you again. You didn't even scare it.
As Samuel rounded
The creature's gonna be sitting in that metal chariot sitting out there. And he's gonna be like, like in Gremlins 2, the one that gets the brain DNA or something, gets smart, and he's like, oh, well, what we really want to do is eat you. That's what the creature's gonna be like. He's gonna be sitting there with like a little fez and like a little glass of like brandy or something. It's like, oh, so you finally decided to come talk, have you, Samuel?
Oh, you know what I was envisioning? Him sitting there and being like, Why don't you have a seat?
Yeah. Have a seat over there.
Yeah. Care to explain yourself?
Why does a guy come to a mountain to try to kill a creature?
It'd be perfect.
Yeah. The creature's Chris Hansen all along. If they pull off the creature's mask, it's Chris Hansen all along.
As Samuel rounded the corner of the back of the building, he saw a large line of blue neon blood that spread from the roof to where the creature had vanished into the woods. Samuel knew he had shot the creature, but didn't think it would be that bad because of it returning this morning. Grabbing a stick that had not burned in the fire, Samuel started poking through the black coals to see if there were any hot coals left, but found none. Sammy backed away from the power of the black coals. Okay?
From the power of the black hole coals.
And stopped suddenly to listen. He lifted his winter hat above his ear to listen closer. He could hear the engine of snowmobile running, but it sounded like it was idling. He ran inside the station to let the others know what he had heard.
Great, the creature's got a snowmobile now.
It sounds like it's just idling. So I'm going out to see if I can find where it is, Samuel exclaimed it as he got on his snowshoes. Then why didn't you already have them? You're talking about... Never mind.
Yeah.
He grabbed his gun, giving Jennifer a kiss on the lips before going out the door. Samuel started toward the sound of the snowmobile engine. His gun gripped tightly in his hand and his eyes moving from left to right as he walked cautiously across the newly fallen snow, staying alert and ready if the creature should jump out at any given moment. The sound of the snowmobile engine grew closer and closer. Samuel could now see the snowmobile as he walked around the corner. What corner?
Nah.
About 200 feet from him, but he couldn't see the rider. As he got close to the snowmobile, he could see an arm on the ground behind the low-hanging branches. Wait, no, sorry, I missed the spot. Behind the snowmobile. He ran toward her, thinking maybe the guy had been smacked in the face by one of the low-hanging branches and had been knocked off. Why would you think that was a creature running
with
around?
a monster around killing people and leaving arms places.
Well, he could feel himself beginning to sweat under his winter jacket and heavy pants from running. When he approached the snowmobile and was able to see the man, Samuel bent over and gave up the donuts and coffee he had earlier that morning. He lifted his hands back from his knees and looked at the man's face, showing his eyes wide open with a look of terror and shocking them, with his mouth opened in astonishment. His body lay lifeless, with his arms to the side and the stomach missing, and showing only his spine and back muscles. As Samuel looked next to the body of the dead man and noticed the familiar footprints and the snow that ended the man's life.
The footprints did?
The snow did? Samuel then realized that the creature could possibly be watching him right now. He jumped on the snowmobile and headed back to the ranger station with it. When he got back, Jennifer was waiting for him with the door open. The creature got the man that had the snowmobile, Samuel said. Now I have a feeling that it's not going to let anyone in to find us. They're not going to let us out. We're going to have to make our stand with it right here, he explained. Jennifer and Holly both looked to Samuel with worried and frightened expressions on their faces.
We can do it, if we had Dan here.
Jennifer said.
We have to do it, My Winnie's not very good on this. I have to apologize. I'm giving y'all a subpar Winnie.
It's
I just have not been able to find Winnie through this entire thing.
It is.
So I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe Snidely Whiplash or something. I have no idea what you even call that voice.
I don't know, but
Meow, like a vaudeville villain.
can somebody explain to me how his noisemaker was supposed to work with the cans that are supposed to make the noise buried
Buried in the
under
snow.
snow?
Well,
Like, maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I just don't understand it.
and how is this creature everywhere?
Yeah.
Like, he's getting people on snowmobiles, he's jumping off of roofs, he's clawing in through windows.
Like, he's.
And he's only got one hand.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Alright. Well, tomorrow we'll try to put up the next installment. Kiss, kiss.